Hello, Stitch Witch here. Today we are going to go over some crocheting basics. To start off with, we are going to have our yarn and our hook. On the yarn, you're going to see where it has all your information that there's two hooks. There is the knitting hook symbol, and then there's the crochet hook symbol. The crochet hook symbol says 9mm, which is what I'm using. However, as you go on about crocheting, you're going to find that you might have tighter crochet stitches or you might have looser crochet stitches. So if you have tighter crochet stitches, you will be using maybe a bigger sized hook, or if you have looser crochet stitches, you will be using a smaller hook. Usually what you'll do is when you start a pattern and you're looking over a pattern, you will find the gauge section. And in that gauge section, it'll tell you how to make the square. Typically, it's like a few rows and so many single crochets. And then it has a measurement with it that you can measure out that square. Now, if that measurement it's not meeting that measurement, then you might need to use a larger hook. If it's too big, you might need to use a smaller hook. So there's that. So we are doing a 9mm. When you first get your yarn, there's some yarns that will have like a little sticker on the end so you can just pull it out. However, a lot of yarns I've found is that you have to kind of go digging for the ball that's in there and then finding that end. Like this one, I pulled out a huge brain size amount and I put some of it back. Okay, so this is my yarn. This is my crochet hook. Typically, you will have the yarn in your non-dominant hand and your crochet hook in your dominant hand. When it comes to how you hold your yarn, everybody's different. You are going to find what works best for you. I have seen multiple ways of doing it, and I've seen people that do these weird ways of wrapping it around your finger and whatnot. I can't do any of those. Those are just too complicated for me. So what I've done is I kind of just kept going and figured it out, and then I just got used to it, and I don't have a good way of wrapping the yarn. I just muscle memory, go to grab it. Typically what you'll see me do is my two fingers here, my pinky and my ring, you'll see me holding onto it like that. So you'll see me doing that as we go along. So the first thing you need to do is get the string on the hook. And there are multiple ways you need to make a slip stitch. To do this, you can basically just kind of tie it, pull it through, and then tighten it like this. I actually have gotten into doing a different way that I really like, which is holding onto it like this, wrapping it around, making an X in the back, and on the front we make the two lines. So let me show you this again. We hold it like this against the two fingers, wrap around, and then make an X. And then you got two pair lines here. So the front is the first, the back is the second. We go under the front and over the back and pull it. And then when you just kind of let go, you just tighten and that's it. So let me show that to you again. You go hold on to it, over, make an X, and then you just pull. Okay, so now that you have your hook with your yarn on it, this is how we will start doing. We're going to do a chain. So every pattern starts with a bunch of chains, and it usually tells you how many chains you need. There is another way of doing the chain in the first layer, whether it's chain then single crochet, double crochet, or half double crochet, and it's called foundation stitches. Now, those make everything look super nice and kind of take out some of the extra steps. However, they're a little bit harder to follow, especially if you're newer to this. So I would tell you to go ahead and just do the chains along with the single crochet as the pattern requests. Okay, so chaining. So you'll see me right here. I'm going to hold my yarn to the left of the hook. And then while I start chaining, you'll see me hold this little tail with my pointer finger and my thumb to hold the tension. As I go along with the crocheting, I stop pulling that as much once you get some stitches actually onto the hook. Okay, and when you are crocheting, you're going to keep this piece of yarn behind the hook because you go over the hook from bottom, behind, over to the top. So, okay, first chain, you're gonna kind of put some tension on the hook, grab this, go behind, and yarn over. That is a yarn over and a pull through. And that is one chain. You can see one right here. As we do more, you'll see more of a texture to it and be able to count them. Okay, so do another one. We're going to hold on to the yarn, and this is when I kind of start holding on to this. You go from behind over to the front, yarn over, and just pull it through. Now, I do find when you're doing the chains, there's a little bit more tension than normal. You can make it a little bit looser, especially with these big hooks. I'm not used to this big hook. Let's do that again. We're going to yarn over and pull through. Now, I'm going to slowly do 15 of those. If you want to jump, actually 16 of those. If you want to jump ahead of me, go for it. But I'm going to go ahead and keep going somewhat slowly. So here's 3. And so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so now we have 16 here. You can count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then typically when you have a single crochet on top of the chain stitch, you're going to skip one chain. It's one chain for single crochet, 2 chains for a half double crochet, which is HDC, and then the double crochet, it's 3. So we're going to do single crochets. So we're going to just skip the first one. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your hook and you're going to put it in the top loop right here. And you're going to yarn over and pull through. And now you should have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over again and pull through those 2 loops. When you're done with this stitch, you should always have one staying there. Okay, so we've got 1 loop. We're going to put it through the top of the chain, and then you're going to yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over again. We're going to pull through these 2 loops. Okay, so do this again. Okay, we've got 1 loop here. We're going to go through, and then you should have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over. So now we're at 3. Pull 1 through this one, and now you have 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through the 2 loops. And typically, I will put a crochet hook. So a stitch marker through the first side so that I know where that starts. So let me go ahead and put that there. I like using stitch markers at the beginning and at the end so that you can kind of keep track of where that is, because sometimes these will start to kind of run in together as you're building up, and it's good to know where it's at so that you can stop and start where you need to. Okay, and so right now we have 3, 1, 2, 3. So we are looking to do 15 total. Okay, so we're gonna put your hook through. I always do it automatically. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through. Now, one thing I want to tell you is that when you're doing these chains and your single crochets for the first time, this is a muscle memory thing. So keep going. If they're too big, they're too small, just keep going, keep trying, and you're going to create this muscle memory. And once you get that muscle memory going, it's going to get so much easier. But that was the hardest part for me when I learned to crochet, was that it wasn't the right size or it looked sloppy. And you just got to keep going until it's not sloppy anymore. All right, so we're going to go through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Now I do know this this looks a little sloppy. I have a special large yarn for this so that you could see it in the video, and I'm not used to this yarn, so it's a little bit different. It's almost silky. Okay, so next one, we're going to put the hook through the hole, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and then pull through. Okay, we're going to go ahead and continue on with the 15 single crochets for the first row, and then I'll show you how you turn it and do the next row. Okay, so I have done all 15 of the single crochets. Now I am going to show you what you do next. So if we're going to stick with the single crochets, you're going to chain 1. And then, like I said before, if it's a half double crochet, you're going to chain 2. If it's a double crochet, you'll chain 3, typically. Obviously, you're going to follow what the pattern says, but that's typically what they are. Okay, so here we are going to turn your project. So this is technically like the front. We're going to go to the back. So just flip it like that. Okay. Now, remember, you always have your yarn kind of to the left, maybe back a little bit because you're going to go backwards. Okay. So now we're going to chain 1 to go to the next row. It's just like a regular chain. So we yarn over and pull through, and that's a chain 1. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and do our first single crochet. So it's right here in this little pocket here, because you can see each of these little arrows is a stitch, the top of the stitch. Okay. So we're going to go into both of these, and then we will yarn over, pull through, and then you have your 2 loops on there again, yarn over and pull through. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a stitch marker right here so that we see the end of it on the first single crochet that we did. Okay. Now we're going to do this again. So we're going to stick the hook into these 2 loops right here for the single crochet, the top of the single crochet. Then we're going to yarn over, pull through. So you should have 2 loops on your hook. And then we're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull through both of them. There we go. So let's do it again. Put the hook through the 2 loops, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. All right, one more time. Put the hook through the 2 loops, yarn over, pull through. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. Okay. So let's go ahead and finish this row and then meet back here. Okay, so we have finished the second row. We're going to take this stitch marker out, and then we are going to turn your work for the third row, and we're going to do another chain. So remember to bring this yarn behind, yarn over, and pull through for your chain. And then when you go to start your next row of single crochet, you'll see at the top you have the 2 loops. You're going to put it through, yarn over, pull through with the 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through. So then you'll continue to do that. I'm going to put my stitch marker in here so we know where the top of it is. And then you can just keep going and see how it's getting straighter and starting to look more like a square. So, all right, that is all that I'm going to show you in the video. If this video was helpful, please subscribe to this channel and have a fantabulous day.